Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Today, I am sitting down with the wonderful, the talented, and the beautiful Tonya Kay, who plays the Nymph in one of the creepiest films I've seen in 2019. It's called Girl on the Third Floor. For those who have not seen this movie certainly has spectacular special effects, brutal violence, and some excellent acting performances. Not only is the premise intriguing, but it also has great imaginary, a bunch of crap like that, which is really good. I'm sorry, not imaginary, imagery. That's what I meant to say. Great imagery. And the solid directing that nails the uncanny feeling of dread that can come with settling into any new home, let alone the house that's tangibly spooky on its face. So, let alone the one that comes pre-packed with a legitimately scary history. So in the third act, there's a pivotal turn in the movie, and I would like to know more about the house and its occupants, especially the nymph. So I know there's a backstory about the nymph and they slightly put in the movie, but I want to know if you know more about the nymph. So please give a very warm welcome to my awesome guest, Tonya Kay. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing?
Good, Benjamin. Thank you for having me on.
The honor and pleasure is all mine. Again, I can't emphasize how creepy your character is. I mean, the special effects and the makeup is just done so wonderfully well. And I want to know more about the nymph. Like I said, the movie doesn't provide like a good backstory. And I know talking to actors, they make up their own backstory for the character in order to tap into the core. So anyway, we'll get that to in a second. I want to know more about you on a personal level. So if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in this movie.
Myself, I have been performing forever. Like I was like a filmmaker when I was a child, and there were only VHS, like VHS, humongous camcorders out there. I was making animated films when I was a child on VHS, and there was no digital stops. Like you had to press start and stop for your length of time. Oh, and I won awards. I've been making like music videos and choreographing. And as an adult, clearly I've made my career out of performance. One of the reasons that I think that's worked so well for me over the decades is because I'm multidisciplinary. So not only do I act, which I love doing, but I started dancing. And dance has been such a beautiful part of my career, my passion, and my art form. I'm a singer and I'm a host as well. So between all of those things, really successful career. Like I look at my friends who just act or just dance, they got to work extra hard. They got to make all their money doing just one discipline. Not me. I was multidisciplinary. And yeah, so today I'm still acting, still dancing, still singing, still hosting, still touring. And I started in Michigan, in a farm town in Michigan, which was a really nice place to start because it's small, it's safe. Back then, it was totally safe. I was Gen X, so running around like a wild animal. Parents were totally cool with it. And the first city that I moved to was Chicago. And this is Chicagoland is where Girl on the Third Floor was shot. And started my career there. Just started touring out of Chicago and doing local theater, musical theater, legit theater. Um, did some commercials, did some industrials back then in Chicago too. Love Chicago. And the second city I moved to was New York. And I really got into experimental movement, experimental theater, experimental dance, and did Stomp and De La Guarda, danced in concert dance companies, flagging company, tap dance company. That was such a great experience. New York has an energy all to itself, and you got to love it. Like they're making art there, and you feel it, like the audiences are looking for the art that you're making. And then I got a gig and moved to Vegas, which is the opposite in artistic terms. It's more entertainment in Vegas, right? So I did the same show in New York and Vegas. And in New York, literally the audiences were like, this is high concept. We love it. It's amazing. Same show, Las Vegas, the audience is screaming, show us your tits. So that's the difference between Vegas and New York. Love it or hate it. Just different. And I toured for a long time. I toured with Panic at the Disco. I toured with Stomp. I toured in the Tap Dance Kid, the Rugrats way back in the day. That was international. Went overseas with that. Kenny Rogers. Kenny
Oh my
Rogers I
God. Oh
toured
my
with.
goodness.
Yeah, what a great human being. He was a great human being, by the way. And went to all the cities in the US, every state in the US, multiple times. Ended up spending a lot of time in San Francisco on one of the tours. Fell in love with San Francisco, fell in love with Vancouver, British Columbia. And then I ended up in Los Angeles, and that's a whole nother scene. So film and television dominates there. There's still live performance, but it's more for special events and local clubs and bars. I did it all, being multidisciplinary, did it all, have done it all, am doing it all. Love Los Angeles, spent a lot of time there, found a lot of success and friends and enjoyment out of being on the West Coast. And now I am residing in Vancouver, British Columbia. Fell in love with it years ago. Now I get to experience the beauty, the cleanliness, the purity, the sweetness of this Canadian city.
Wow, you have a wide array of experience.
Yeah.
So it's very impressive. Um, I understand. What I think what we call you is a Renaissance actor. So you wear many hats, you do many things. Like me, I at my work, I'm a Renaissance man because I wear many hats at my job.
Yeah.
So so I get it. Very impressive. I know what it means to go from one side of the country to the other because I'm in New Jersey, but I have lived in Seattle for 3 years. So that was a completely different beast I'm used to. So completely different animal. And now I'm back in New Jersey, thank God, because I was not a big fan of Seattle. So the weather it got to me, and the culture just I'm not used to it. So it rains a lot, and I got tired of it.
Yeah, you love it
And
or you, I mean, you'd prefer the snow. You'd prefer the snow.
not really. I also hate snow, but it's the nature of the beast. I got to deal with it. So however, I have been to Canada, and it's very nice. It's very beautiful there, like very clean. I've been to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I
Yeah.
spent 4 days there, so it was great, and I did not want to leave, but I kind of had to. I was in the military, so I had to leave. So we did a port call in Halifax, and like I said, we spent 4 days there. And to me, like between the first day and the last day was like a giant blur. I don't remember anything. So the lot of bar hopping.
Yeah, I love touring, and you probably love like having had that experience traveling for your military and deployments. And I think it gives us an opportunity to just visit and step in to different realities, and that makes us a richer human being. And especially for actors, that brings like an awareness that people are different, and acting itself, I think, is very noble because at the heart of it, the actor is willing to sacrifice our own identity, our own feelings on things, our own perspective, our own culture, sometimes even to understand another person's experience. And that's very noble. And traveling helps with that because you're seeing so many experiences. You can bring that back to your work or just enrich your life with that.
And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because spending time in the Middle East, I was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan as well. And I found the Muslim culture fascinating. I did. Their way of life is like completely different, but yet they get so much hate for it. And you have to be there to understand to what they do, what they can and cannot do, what the rules are, their religion. I mean, just to be there to experience it, I like I said, I brought that back. I had to explain to some people, like this is what they do. I know you don't like it, but tough titty, you have to just deal with it and just suck it up. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the less judgmental we can be, the more we actually learn and understand, and the more we can connect.
And the cooking is delicious, by the way. I had lamb for the first time over there. It was I don't know. Some people are not a big fan of lamb, but the lamb curry is just delicious. I mean, if I can just find a way to recreate that dish, that'd be awesome. Even though my cooking skills are horrible, my this one, but
I
I
haven't
can't cook shit
experienced
with lamb.
lamb. I'm a vegan, so I'm like,
Okay.
Not lamb, not lamb." But yeah, I do agree with you. Like Middle Eastern food,
Top
so good,
notch. Yeah.
so good. Yeah,
So you're back. We digress. So
yeah.
back to your role with the Nymph. How did you get involved with that role?
Pretty cool. Oddly, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and the movie shot in Chicagoland, one of my favorite cities. And they were casting for local, of course, for the nymph role. It's a small role. It's a smaller role. So they definitely were casting locally in Chicago. But because of my history in Chicago, I am a local hire there. So I sent in a tape. Everything was tape back then. It still is now, especially. So I sent in a tape and I offered my physical embodiment of this character as a dancer. I wanted to take it a little further than just acting on the tape. So I gave my full body shot and I did some movement and I felt like I was giving a full body audition as what I thought the nymph might be like. And it was a thing. It was a win, made me very happy. The next thing you know, I'm in Chicagoland and we are at this really beautiful old haunted house. And that was exciting for me too, because I've been known to be like a ghost hunter and I love haunts. My dad was born on Halloween. So just the spooky, monstrous like vibe of Halloween has permeated my life. And he would build our whole house out into a haunted house, a play haunted house, of course, for the holiday. But yeah, being in that spooky house and just hearing that it had a history, even just had one, was really exciting for me. That was fun. And it was gorgeous. The house was gorgeous. And it was in the middle of being renovated. So it was in this half state. I think Travis used it for his production company afterwards, after the film was shot there. So that was cool. It was being renovated. It was in a half state and it was spooky. It was definitely spooky while we were there. And I really love the makeup. Like you mentioned it, the imagery is gorgeous and it was every detail down to painting me, my entire body gold and this gold fleck on my skin. It was so beautiful. I didn't have any qualms about sitting in the chair for so long because the ultimate effect was gorgeous and you can see it on the film. Just otherworldly. I'm my character, the nymph she's is she a dream? Is she a haunting? Is she real? So she has to have that ethereal vibe to her. And the body makeup and hopefully my physicality and acting as well brought that out. I thought, this is a gorgeous scene, just gorgeous. And as you said, creepy, super creepy. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed it. Not only was I in Chicago, not only did I get to look like the nymph, but I got to work with Travis. I worked with Trieste, and all the good staff crew that was on this film, and saw some friends that I hadn't seen in a couple years in the
So
area.
for those who are not familiar, who have not seen the movie, can you clarify who the Nymph is?
The nymph is a character. So at in the final act, in the third act, if you will, of the film, our lead woman comes in and she is there to make sure that her husband is safe and doing the right thing. And she is confronted with the dark past of this house. while she's in it. She realizes this is real. This is what's going on. She is being tormented by the imagery and the hauntings that used to happen there. And it's pretty dark stuff. So the nymph is part of that world, a major part of that world. The nymph is on a drug-fueled bender in my mind. This is what I believe the nymph was doing. So the nymph was on a bender. It's a brothel. It's kind of shady, like Epstein brothel, like not super cool brothel. Not everybody should be there. They have a dark kind of ritualistic night going on. And the nymph is inviting any energies that are currently in the home into this really dark party that they're having. So I'm welcoming our lead character into the mayhem of what's happening. I'm kind of like the portal as she
Okay.
comes in.
So
Yeah.
the portal of hell.
Yeah, it's not a great place. What was happening there was not great.
So you've explained how you auditioned and why you auditioned. Um, Even though I believe that the role of the nymph is very crucial, and also a disturbing element in the film, which is like you said, the portal to wherever this place, like the nice circle of hell, whatever it is. I don't know, some place you don't want to go. And there's a backstory about the nymph. And have you created a backstory for your character?
Not too deep. In other words, I mean, just that, what I told you, I am one of the young people at this brothel. And I guess you could say brothel, or maybe it's human trafficking if you want to call it, whichever way you want to call it. But I have been there a long time in my mind. I have been there a long time. I know exactly what's going on. I've even graduated to being almost a leader of the young women that are coming in there. So I am feeling not like Maxine leader, by the way, like I'm involved, but I'm feeling very confident in my role at this point in time when we encounter the nymph. I'm doing drugs. I'm making sure all our guests are also having fun in all the ways that they could possibly have fun. I'm making sure all the girls that are there are doing the right role that they are expected to do that evening. I'm a facilitator in my mind. That's my backstory. So I've been through it forever and I'm trapped there now because I'm haunting. I'm haunting and I'm trapped and I'm the energy that makes sure that it's sustained. Like I'm the welcoming energy
It's
of
like
this.
a newer version of 13 Ghosts, pretty much. So,
Ooh,
it's and to back this up, people, if you're listening, this interview has nothing to do or directly related to the Epstein files, the Epstein case, or Epstein
yeah.
Island. Okay, so
No, not at all. I mean, that's a current topic right now.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
keep thinking of it. I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. Like, it's really shady. What we filmed is really shady. Everything else with
yeah,
that topic has happened since filming, by the
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I know it's creepy as hell that just comes up, but I'm letting the audience know this has nothing to do with the Epstein files, not the Epstein Islands or Epstein himself directly, because that would just be wrong. And I don't take that course of road. I'm sorry, people. That is not who I am. So, so,
Yeah, that's not part of the backstory, even.
so your character is the makeup process of the nymph. I think it was looked gorgeous, by the way. I mean, I think did a very good job. What was the process like of putting all that on you?
That was cool. I just had to be cool. It's itchy. It's itchy. Yeah, so sitting in the chair, multiple people are working on you. It was a pretty thick makeup. And I hope you noticed the gold fleck that was in there, this actual metallic material that was in there. So that was also after I was painted, that was applied with some sort of adhesive. I don't know what it was, but all of it was pretty itchy, pretty thick. And as we filmed, it got drier and drier. So there was this constant like the touch-ups would be mostly to my face in this case to try and keep the cracking, because it was thick, right? The cracking of the makeup from happening. Um, so yeah, it was anytime you use copious amounts of blood. I've done one of those like carry blood baths before, like copious amounts of blood all over the body. Anytime you use full body makeup, I've done several full body makeups, including the nymph and the gold. Anytime you use that amount of makeup, it's itchy. It's actually uncomfortable. You gotta love it. And it takes a while to get off and to remove, and probably more time to remove than put on, if you can believe that. And it sometimes cracks, like it gets dry. This isn't real body fluid. If it's blood, this isn't real. That's the whole point. It's not real. So, yeah, it gets dry, it cracks. You got to take care of it while you're filming. The makeup artists are constantly on set, touching you up, making sure you look moist where you need to look moist, and making sure there's more gold medal fleck where there needs to be, and making sure it stays on. Yeah, it's kind of a constant go, but we were very efficient once we started working. Actors, it's kind of like hurry up and wait. Somebody said once, and I don't know who it was, they said, I'm not paid to act, I'm paid to wait. So on set, like you do so much time in the chair, and then you're waiting, for your scene to come up while you have all this makeup on. And yeah, it's a lot of waiting.
That's the military's motto: is hurry up and wait.
Hurry up
Even
and
though
wait.
but in your case, it's less regimented. So it's just when it comes to military, you literally hurry up and wait. When I was backstory real quick, when I was flying back home from Iraq, we had to go to the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning, even though my flight was not till 8 o'clock that night. So I had like 14 hours to kill. Like, what am I
At
going
the
to do in an
airport.
airport for 14 hours? It's an army airport of all things in Baghdad, Iraq, which is like right on the front line. So I'm like, what am I going to do? They have a subway down the street, but I'm not walking that far. Fuck that. It's like, that's just too far for people who skimp their meat in the sandwiches. I can't do it. And then you have the meals ready to eat MREs, which either give you diarrhea or you're constipated. There's no in between. You're screwed. So it's just um it's a hit or miss. Um so playing the nymph, what did you enjoy most about playing your role as the nymph?
Honestly, I mean, it's a smaller role, but working with Travis, the director, um, he's a gem, you know? And today I've got 120 IMDb credits on my, like I've done a lot of work. And I can say directing, the role of a director has shifted while I've been in the industry, from working with actors and directing actors, but directing actors, to almost just being a DP. Meaning, you have somebody on set who's already the DP, the director of photography. So if we trust them to be good at their job, the director doesn't have to also do that job, right? They can communicate with the DP and give their artistic choices and how would the DP fulfill that vision. But it's really slanted. The role of director is really slanted to the technical side these days. And there will be so many sets that I walk on where the director doesn't work with the actor at all. Literally just tells us where our mark is, and that's it. So that's wonderful sometimes, because as an actor, you have a lot of freedom. You're like, whatever I do is going to be amazing. But I loved working with Travis specifically because he's an actor's director. And in that moment, like, he gave me direction that I could take because I love taking direction. And he increased my awareness of my role through that direction, which is what he should do. what I would love always the actor director relationship to be. So that was my favorite part. That was my favorite part of working on the girl on the third floor was literally getting that moment with Travis where he could make me a better actor just by directing me. It was
That
wonderful.
works. um, so like you mentioned, the movie is set in the Chicago suburbs, and the lore of the movie is based on a real haunted house, which I find really fascinating. I don't know what it is about people like us who just want to visit a haunted house just for the hell of it. Other people think we're just, bonkers and crazy and batshit crazy. Um, so were you told that the house was haunted beforehand?
It was light. The talk about the house was very light. I wasn't told by the production team. It was actually across the street. We had a church, believe it or not. We had a church to do our makeup and do our holding and run the production offices out of across the street. And it was during holding that I was hanging out, waiting to get the makeup on. Somebody in passing, and I don't even know what crew member, just in passing, said the house has a history. That's all. That's all I got. And so, of course, I'm kind of a nerd with haunted houses and, spooky stuff. So I kind of implored more. And it was generally not specific what I found out on set. It was just given like that. Like it has a history and it might be haunted. And I had to go, see if that was the case myself. I couldn't wait. With all of that buildup, the mysterious buildup back in the at the church, I couldn't wait to step in the house. I was like, let's find out. And it was creepy when I got in there. It was super creepy. Of course, our energy, a movie set energy, it kind of pushes all the creepness out because we're at work. We are working. Nothing huge happened while I was there. But I was alone in the so I you see in the movie I come out of a door and I
Yep.
peek around the door. That room was empty. The room I was coming out of was empty and it was creepy as hell. Oh my gosh. I did not love being stuck in that room until they called action. I didn't love it. I didn't love it because it was creepy. Nothing specifically happened, but I got the creeps.
I think I would too. See, if it were me, if I knew the house was haunted, immediately I'd be on Google looking for that shit. Like, okay, what's over this house? Or go to the county whorehouse and get records or something. Like, who
Yeah.
died here? How many victims? And where's my ghost equipment at?
Yeah. Yeah, I can say the church basement that we were doing our holding in and the makeup and the rooms had no cell reception. So while we were holding, like when I found out this information, I it had to remain mysterious. And that was almost better. Because when I get over there, cell phone free, of course, on set. I always go cell
Mm.
phone free. Once you get over there, then you can let your imagination do the work.
Yeah, I think I would have way too much fun. I would completely forget about acting and I'd be worried about, not even worried about it, but wondering. I'm like, who died? How many victims? Who was the killer? I want to know more about this house, like right now. So screw my lines. I'm out. That's just that's just what I
Yeah,
would do.
yeah.
So like you said, nothing major happened on set, which is kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping you would say something happened on set. I mean, the last person I talked to, they said they filmed in a haunted house here in New Jersey. Say he experienced some like objects moving around on their own. So I was like, dude, I need to know more. What is up? But
That's
he said
cool.
he didn't want to bring back any negative vibes to the interview. Didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, I understand. It's like we can talk about offline whenever you're ready because I want to know more. So, so
Nice.
because the New Jersey is just full of abandoned psychiatric hospitals and a bunch of places that are they're supposed to be haunted. And one of these days, I'm gonna make the trek out there just to see these places because that's the kind of shit I want to do in my spare time. Even though I do visit film locations as a hobby, I want to check out abandoned haunted places eventually.
Yeah.
So it just I need the time, the gas, the money, and I just found out my wife is pregnant, so a lot of time is gonna be focused on that.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, you've acted a lot of horror movies, and in comparison, it's actually over like 30 horror movies. By the way, I checked your IMDb. I'm a stalker. I'm sorry. So, what's the difference between the tones and paces compared to those other movies with this one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, horror is such a vast genre, isn't it? I mean, we call all these different movies horror as if they're similar, but they're super not. Like I've done slashers, I've done this, which is a haunting kind of story. I've done campy. Campy. Love campy. I was the puppet master in Charles Band's Puppet Master. So that's a campy and just it's a series. It's an epic series that goes on forever. Very different. This one is based more in realism, so your acting had to be very grounded, and we're portraying something that we want the audience, we want the viewer to be scared because of the realness. There was a lot of jump scares, but like the realness, like this could happen at your house. Maybe you don't know the house you're living in is haunted yet. That kind of energy. So, yeah, totally different than some of the others that I've done, slashers, where there's copious amounts of blood, and it's all about the close-ups of the wounds and the violence happening. Bastard was one of those films where I was also the villain, you know. Sorry everyone for the I'm hope I don't ruin it, but I hope you watch it because of this. I was a villain in that, and a fun story from that one was a big scene where I'm disemboweling one of my victims, and it was in this shed, and we're seeing it for the first time. And they walk in, and there's body parts hanging everywhere. And then I do actual cool, like disemboweling. It's very gory, very bloody, blood all over my face, blood everywhere. And they wanted to use, and they did use, actual meat cuts, cut sides of meat hanging in there. But they respected, so cool. They respected that I was vegan. And we discussed this at nauseum, ahead of time. Uh, how are we going to do this scene? Am I okay with working around the meat? Am I okay with actually touching meat? I was not, by the way, because I'm vegan. And I really, really appreciated that they respected that because we're just actors. It doesn't have to be real. Shouldn't be real. That's the whole point. We're making movies. We're not making snuff films. Um, so, you know, so they had me stay out of the entire kill scene, like the kill house, while they dressed it with whatever they dressed it. I'm pretending I don't know what they used. And they filmed like background of it, just them entering point of view stuff. And then they cleared it all out and hung up different items that were not to be looked at in detail. They went out of their way to make things. Makeup, special effects for horror films are amazing. The artists that create these things. And what I was working with was like balloons. Ultimately, it was balloons filled with some sort of gross, disgusting material to look like intestines that I could break apart and then they would bleed. And so that was a really different experience, like the goal of that film was more slasher and just grossing everyone out. And nobody really thinks it's real, you know.
Wow.
But Girl on the Third
So,
Floor, real. And Puppet Master, we have puppets. It's monster. It's a monster film. We have
yeah.
puppets in there. So their focus, the artist's focus was greatly on puppets the whole time. And that's a totally different way of filming as well. For an actor, you're working with little famous little puppets. And you got to act against a puppet.
Right, right. So, I hate to stop you because this is what we have about 2 minutes. We have about 2 minutes left, and this
Okay.
is yeah. So, last question, finally. What's next for you? Anything exciting coming up you want to share?
Right now, for sure, I have a television spot coming up in April. I guess I can't really tell you about it, but if you follow me on social media, I'll be kind of giving you the hints coming up where to look for me on television because I did sign an NDA. It's a little top secret. So the week of, just check out my Instagram, check out my Facebook. And I will be posting like, get your eyes on this network, get your eyes on this show. And you can see me coming up on TV on a spot. If you follow my social media, of course, the best way to follow me on Instagram is Pure Renegade, Pure Renegade. And on Facebook, it's Brutally Elegant. But my name is Tonya Kay, Tonyakay. I also am touring with a burlesque company called the Lalas, and I have several dates coming up. So stay with me on that one. You can find me there. And here in Vancouver, I'm producing some vocal shows once a month, all through summer. So you could come see me live there as well. And one more important thing, I directed a film called High Heels, and it is amazing. Follow me, and I will. It's coming out very like next month, so you can watch my film High Heels coming out next month.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. That's a lot to put there. Anyway, got about less than a minute left. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, all the way in Vancouver. I appreciate it. This movie is definitely something that resonates with those who are in the hauntings and some other weird, batshit crazy shit. I guess I don't know. Again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented Tonya Kay. Check out Girl on the Third Floor, now streaming on Tubi, Roku channel, Flex, Amazon Prime, and plenty more. Again, thank you so much. I will definitely see you again on the big screen.
Thank you very much, Benjamin.
Yeah, thank you.